Post Millennial is reporting illegal immigrant indicted in West Virginia for killing a 32-year-old woman, setting her body on fire. A grand jury indicted an illegal immigrant from El Salvador in connection to the death of Samantha Daly, 32, of Charlestown, West Virginia. David Antonio Calderon, 46, has been accused of killing Daly in Jefferson County and then setting her body on fire in a field in neighboring Berkeley County. The murder occurred in May 2024, the Spirit of Jefferson reported. Daly's body was discovered on a burning sofa in the 100 block of Golf Course Road in Berkeley County on May 6, 2024. Investigators say that her remains were so badly burnt that she was unidentifiable and believe that she was initially killed in Jefferson County. It's a rough one to hear. This, go ahead.
Read the next sentence. Like
the victim was under GPS surveillance. Oh, yeah. The victim was under GPS surveillance at the time of the killing. Daly was serving a home confinement sentence for driving with a suspended license, a nonviolent offense, authorities said. She was allowed to leave her Jefferson County residence to conduct business matters and perform errands. Dude. So the poor woman couldn't leave her house, and she was murdered by this, this illegal immigrant. And it's rough to even read the story, and it's also kind of scary to think that it happened around here. It's very, very, I think there's at least 4 or 5 people that work here that
I drive through it every day.
Live down, but I'm talking about live there.
I understand.
It's
every day.
I used to go to the gym that was like 10 miles, just a couple miles north of that place. So yeah, I can't imagine what it's like being family members with this woman and knowing that this person was here illegally, and then hearing, because this happened in May of 2024, then hearing, the Democrats say this isn't a problem. There's no problem. Yeah. We don't have a problem with illegal immigration, because they were saying that until September, until they realized that the American people were fully aware that there's a massive problem with illegal immigration. They were denying it and denying it and denying it. And whether it be this poor young lady, or whether it be Lake and Riley, or any number of people that have been killed, even like the horrifying murders aside, how many people died in car accidents because some illegal was driving a car?
They don't know the rules or laws or anything.
Yeah, and if they weren't if they just purely weren't in the country, they wouldn't have been driving the car. Not drunk, not any of that's not any aggravating circumstances, just was an illegal that shouldn't have been here, that was driving a car and got into a car accident and killed someone. I'm sure that it's hundreds of people that have died, maybe thousands, because you're talking about at least 10 million, probably closer to 20 million illegal immigrants that have entered the country since 2020 or 2019 or something.
Before you guys go off, let me throw just a big thing caveat. On April 10th of the same, before May, April 10th, he helped Colorado and beat a homeless couple with a baseball bat, leaving them hospitalized with serious injuries. April.
Where was this?
Wherever here area.
Wow.
It's in the same article we're reading.
Okay.
And then he stabbed another man several times in April, before May, April 28th, following an argument. So the dude has been, I'm really sad about West Virginia. What do you do in West Virginia, politicians and police letting this dude out? April, beat up a couple baseball bats, and then he stabbed some dude in an argument on
just
April 28th.
On 340, not crazy, not 5 miles down the road, maybe 10 miles down the road from Charlestown is the Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah. That's right.
Right there.
That's right.
Right effing there.
Has anyone checked in on Selena Gomez if she's made any videos about this?
This is one of her people.
Are her tears putting out these fires?
Is she crying? Is she crying?
Calderon had previous arrests and convictions in El Salvador, including sexual assault, murder, aggravated robbery, DUI, and narcotics-related crimes.
My question is, the men in this village or wherever they live, does anyone know about this? Is there anybody reporting on this? As a man, can you live with that in your neighborhood? If you know that this guy's doing crazy crap, how do you not go, hey, dog, time to go talk to some people and have them that this is not how we act in public, And that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that anyone that turns in illegal immigrants, they should, maybe there should be some kind of incentive,
See, okay. Well, this is where I get a little nervous with that, because we kind of did that with COVID, where the left was told to report on anybody who's having mass gatherings. So now they're telling the right to report on illegals. I get very nervous that we're turning into a country of snitches.
Right.
And one thing I'm telling my kid, no, we don't snitch. You're in Tripoli. You don't snitch. So, but I understand what you're saying. There has to be some kind of system, but I get very nervous when we start rewarding people.
How are we going to do it?
I'm
speaking Spanish.
I'm just saying that's that. So like in Palestine, right?
Yeah.
There was I remember watching a story that like neighbors who didn't get along with each other, they would just say the other one was a spy for Israel.
That was the exact same thing that happened in Germany too. There was like most of the in authoritarian countries, the stuff that I've read and stuff that I've heard, the people that actually keep everyone in line are the citizens, because you don't want to say anything that your neighbor might overhear and decide, I'm going to turn them in. It's not that there's never enough secret police. There's never enough police to hold to keep a population in check like that. What happens is the population keeps the population in check. At first, it's the true believers like the COVID people, right? The COVID people that were like, if you are walking around without your mask on, I'm going to call the manager. It's literally Karens, right?
Sam, I agree
That's
with
to
you.
start with. But then it goes on where it's anyone that would step out of line.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know what the answer is to
But
that.
I agree with you for the most part. But this dude, April 10th and then April 28th, baseball bat beating up old couple, and they stab someone. Why is he out there burning this woman in May?
That's a
What's
complete
going-
failure
what's going on? Yeah.
of our
Our law
enforcement.
enforcement.
Like,
And
what are they doing?
We've demoralized them.
Right.
We've demoralized the cop. My cousin's a cop. I love him.
Sorry to cut you off, but not just law enforcement. It's the judicial system.
Yeah.
Because law enforcement could have picked him up, and then if the courts don't actually put him in jail.
Which I think gets into this Bolshevik stuff I was talking about, like destabilize. Because if you go, Sam, what is their next big goal they would really like? To me, it's martial law. Because once you get the martial law, the Constitution goes out the door, and you're right to this, and you're right to that, and you're right to this. We can get into, can we talk January 6th? I don't know if that's a taboo topic, but, January 6th, like, if we go, that's an intelligence operation, what is the purpose of that? To bring in the domestic terrorism department of Homeland Security. And once you label somebody a terrorist, their rights go away. They don't have the right to a lawyer. They don't have a right to a speedy trial. They have all that stuff. So this is, to me, like if we demoralize you, if you can't do anything to protect yourself and you can't expect the state, the city to protect you, what's next? Demoralization.
You're in a cage.
Yep.
The whole country's a cage.
Yeah, and there's never been it's never been easier for a government to do that than it is now, considering everybody has their own personal monitor that they not only continuously have with them, they feel like they're lost without it. There's constantly have a wiretap, a video recorder, an audio recorder, and whether people realize it or not, all of these things, if you have them on your phone, there's a reason why Zuckerberg puts a piece of tape over the camera on his laptop, because these things are accessible no matter what you think. Someone can access it, get inside, and say, I want to do this or I want to do that without your knowledge. That is 100% possible. Whether or not you're interesting enough to be actually monitored,
I think they take all the data, dump it into a place, and if you become a problem, they just go, let's go look at your file, right?
Well, yeah, that's what Google does. Google hold that, and again, this comes back to the idea that we were talking about with the ATF. The government doesn't need to monitor you because Google's doing it all the time.
Yeah.
All they do is subpoena Google.
Yep.
To call SpaceX an instrument of the federal government is the same as to call Google an instrument of the federal government, because they do all the stuff the federal government wants.
Yeah.
They just don't, and they store it for the
It's
federal
almost
government.
cutouts,
and
right?
the government, all the government has to say is, "Hey, give us this guy's info," and they'll hand it right over instantaneously.
Look how they worked Zuckerberg during COVID.
Yeah.
He was a little censor puppet.
And that whole story's crazy too. But no, you're totally right, man, about the censorship and the control. It's interesting. I know they're listening to me. I put on a show for them. Enjoy that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I'm like a reverse
I don't
warrior.
care. It's
Yeah, they
like,
can watch.
yeah, dude. Well, listen to me. I don't give a shit. But, you know, it's like it doesn't matter.
They're gonna get you no matter what.
Dude, I do pre-check. They get my eyes all the time. It's just like it's so funny because every time I go to the airport, you know, I'll hand them my ticket. Sound like alarm will go off, and I'm like, oh, they got me. I'm going to the gulags, right? Because that's every conspiracy theorist's wet dream that we're all going to the gulags. Oh, we're so important that they're going to take us to the gulags. It's interesting, dude. It's interesting.
I'm a Fed myself, so I'm not really worried about it. So
Okay.
once you're in the system, you're okay.
You should tell me that at the beginning of the show. That you're a fan. I remember one time I was at I was doing a show, and a high school friend of mine, this hot chick I went to school with, she brought her friend, and they were hanging out. And then like by the end of the night, she's like, "Yeah, she works for the DA." I'm like, "I'm a crippling drug addict. You should have told me that before we started." Okay, I mean, I've been sober 4 years now, but at the time, I was still rocking and rolling. I would like to know if there was a narc in the room or not.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.